Good evening. It is I, Audra. listen. Oop, hi, Bo. No, I know you just had a bath and you're feeling very happy about your life. Scooch over to your side. Any who's it's. I am. Hold on. Let me try to share this and then move Bo to where Bo needs to be. Bo, come on, baby. Get to your side. Oop, you're so heavy. Get to your side. Thank you. All right, hold on. Nope. Stay on your side. Please hold. I'm having a rough time because Bo is like, have you ever had a dog demand that he have a bath? Because Bo did that today. He was very demanding. He got his bath. He is clean and he is happy, but he was not. He was in his zone. Oh, not the armpit, babe. So any who's it's. Felisa, I'm in the tub now threatening my phone with drowning. Hey, Audra, hey. Listen, here's what had happened was. What had happened was there's a multitude of things that happened this evening. First of all, I was busy being a messy bitch, and now I'm done doing that, so that's fine. But the other, like, first of all, how's the sound? Is it fancy? Hey, Gregory. Hey, Kimberly. Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting. Ooh, there's exactly 13. I feel good about that. It's gonna go good. It's gonna go well. I'm in here because like you know what? I just be living my life however I live it, right? Right. So thank you, Yadi. Yeah, I'm really excited. So this is one of those amazing things. This is one of the things I like when we talk about our patrons and our channel members, like this is the kind of shit that we're talking about. Like when we're like, oh, it goes back into the channel. It's this kind of shit. It's the webcam that I am using. It's the bomb ass camera that I currently have to film with. Like these are all the things that all of y'all who are able to, not pushing anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But I just want y'all to know that like these are the things that we're talking about when we're like, you know, we appreciate you. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. Like getting this mic where I don't sound because I have 10-foot ceilings. So that's why it was important to me to get like good sound because I have 10-foot ceilings, y'all. And having 10-foot ceilings means you're getting an echo from hell. So Gregory, the mic it's good. It's really good. I was hoping that it would be hot garbage so that I could feel better, you know, about life and be like, haha, it was expensive. But no, yes, Liz, it is a Blue Yeti. I will link it shortly, but it is. Hi, Paige. So listen. This is why I'm here this evening. And I may end up like privating this because I'm about to get messy AF. But my friend Sharita, whom I love dearly, was on their stream this afternoon. I was having a good time. I was like, Sharita, talk that talk, walk that walk, babes. And on most things, we truly do agree. Okay. We do. We do agree. All right. But here's where things went a little sideways. And you know what? But here's the good thing. If you go watch their live, which I will also be sure to link that as well, they very much were like, call me out for this. And here's why I want to talk about it. They were talking about Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and Jennifer Aniston. All right. And I know I can move over this way. I can move over this way so you can still hear me and see me. But like I feel weird because like there's so much light that reflects on these glasses, but like I need the blue light glasses. Do you see how red my eyes are? My eyes are so red. And they are red because I have done in 2 days 3 looks with one palette and I'm looking forward to putting that together. But here was the thing. The crux of the matter was she was talking about Angelina, Brad Pitt, and Jennifer Aniston, and I got livid. I was like, Sharita, not you blaming a woman for this man's behavior, because here's why I despise Brad Pitt. This is what we're going to start out with. Here's why I despise Brad Pitt. Now, before Brad Pitt was with either of those women, he was, and many people forget this, he was engaged to Gwyneth Paltrow. They were the Hollywood couple. They were the power couple because Gwyneth Paltrow did whatever it was that she did. With people compared her to Audrey Hepburn, I disagree. The point is, they were the it couple. They were engaged. And you know what? They got unengaged. He broke it off. And you know why he broke it off? He said he didn't believe in marriage, y'all. He said he did not believe in marriage. Brad Pitt. And you know what he does after he says he doesn't believe in marriage? He marries Jennifer Aniston. He marries her. He says, oh, I don't believe in marriage. And then he marries Jennifer Aniston. All right. So this is why I can't stand this man. He is a blight on this earth, and I cannot stand it. So he breaks off his engagement with Gwyneth Paltrow, stating he does not believe in marriage, and then marries Jennifer Aniston. Now, as Jennifer Aniston, hi, Emily, hi, Dahlia, hi, everybody. Now, as Jennifer Aniston's career is on the upswing, she is not willing to have children at this point in time. She's like, no, my career is like moving upwards. Yours is already like you're Brad frackin' Pitt. Your career is doing fantastic. You're doing well. You're doing great. But like, I'm still moving past friends, and I really need to like let this thing go. I need to let this happen. I need to let my career expand, right? And he was like, well, I know I said I didn't want like children or whatever, but I do now. And who does he end up with? Can y'all take a quick guess? It is Angelina Jolie, who already had what? A ready-made family. All right. And then he leaves Jennifer Aniston for Angelina Jolie, who has kids. They adopt a whole passel and have other children as well. They have biological children, and they also have adopted children. And do you know why he actually leaves? Because Angelina is now boring. She's too much of a mom. He needs excitement in his life. And I just want y'all to know that whenever we talk about this ish, every single time, these women are brought down, because the women are always seen as the enemy in cheating. This is why I say like cheating and the way that we look at it generally is very much from the patriarchal point of view. Because when he left Jennifer Aniston, it was, well, she didn't want to have kids. What did she expect? Right? Thank you. And then when he got with Angelina Jolie, it was like, well, of course he wanted a family. When he leaves her, it's, well, she wasn't keeping things exciting. So as a woman, you cannot win. You can't win. You cannot win as a woman. And this is why I feel like when I talk about cheating, because I'm not excusing my own past cheating behaviors, I'm literally talking about the fact that it is rooted in patriarchy and that women cannot win. Women cannot win. Women are always seen as the problem. If a man cheats on you, it is somehow your problem because you weren't doing enough. You weren't sexy enough. You weren't interesting enough. You weren't catering to his needs. You weren't doing all the things that needed to be done so that he would continue to stay interested in your ass. So that is why he cheated on you with someone more dynamic. So even if you get cheated on as a woman, it's still your fault. You are the problem. You are what's wrong. And I will tell you, if you want to like be like, oh, I disagree. Here's the thing. Let us look at Meg Ryan, who was accused of cheating with Russell Crowe. And even if she did, that's neither here nor there, because the reality is what we didn't realize and or know is that Dennis Quaid cheated on Meg Ryan every which way, cheated on her all the time. But guess who lost her career for cheating? Meg Ryan. Women in Hollywood, especially in Hollywood, if they are caught cheating, they are told that they are the worst. Kristen Stewart. I mean, it's not like she's a super great actress, but like Kristen Stewart, like what does she really have acting wise ever since all that ish went down? So like when you think about this, women, like we are dirty, disgusting creatures because again, patriarchy. And if you think I'm lying, think about the way that we talk about how men cheat versus how women cheat. When we talk about how men cheat, it's like, oh, he just wanted to get his wet, right? Like that's how we look at it. We're like, oh, that's why. But when women cheat, it's emotional. Again, patriarchy. is definitely patriarchy, because by assigning emotion to women cheating, it is assigning the fact that women don't even enjoy pleasure. It's like completely removing our sexuality from the conversation. It is very much allowing women to just be like, we're only emotional, we only have love, we like when women cheat, it's emotional, we're falling for someone else. It's never because a woman wants to get her rocks off, which is not true. Oh my god. It's not true. Women cheat just as much to get their rocks off as men. It is ridiculous. And it's all like in the name of holding up patriarchy and holding up a male ego. Hi. Oh my gosh, Beela's here. I'm like, Yanni lies because my soul is black when single. I need a podcast. Yeah, I mean, it realistically, if you look at it, we watch the way that women are cheated, like treated in the public eye when they have been caught cheating versus how men are treated. If you even look at it, how long was Tiger Woods' ex-wife considered the problem for when Tiger Woods couldn't play, right? Because after he cheated with goddess knows how many women. He cheated with so many women. After he got caught cheating with all of those women and he started playing like shit, who gets blamed? What's her face Nordegren? I only know her last name. I'm so sorry. Like, she somehow got the blame for this, and she was the one at home with the kids minding her business. And she's the one? Are y'all serious? Like, how did she become the problem? Please explain it. How did, like, it's like, oh, well, this whole thing must be her fault. You're like, are we on a different universe? Are we in a different planet? Like, somehow Tiger Woods doing all the things that he did, just running around with like every which way. And it could have been 5 women. It could have been 75. Who knows? The point is that happened. But damn. Fila, your sister is in fact correct. Your sister's correct. Yeah. Because like, and I'll say this, like, I'm not afraid to admit that because I know that I cheated on my ex-husband. I'm fully aware. I mean, he doesn't know, and hopefully, like, well, shit, I don't care if he watches the channel. But here's the thing. I will tell you this. I never said anything about the cheating. Because I'm not, like, the only reason I would have said something was because I was being a spiteful ass bitch. Like, that is why I would have said something. It was one time I was like, yeah, I should just get divorced. That was the whole reason I did it, was because I was like, if I can do this thing and not feel any type of way, then I obviously don't love this person, because I'd been feeling that for a long time. But I couldn't tell at the time if I was feeling that for multitude of reasons. I can't really, like, it would be a long ass book of me getting into it, but it would have been a multitude of reasons for me, like, going into why I thought that this was the way. Obviously, it wasn't a great idea. I'm not an idiot. It wasn't a great idea, but he never knew about that because I did not tell him, because I was not trying to like throw it in his face. I didn't care by the time, like, I was like, okay. So when he offered up, like, should we get divorced? I was immediately like, yes, babes, we should get divorced. I don't love you. I don't remember if I ever loved you, but like, let's end this. Let's not keep doing this. Hey, Ron. Yanni, we are talking about cheating and how it's nuanced, but how it ruins women and how it's deeply rooted in patriarchy, our response to it. Because every single time that they bring this up, like, we keep talking about, oh, Jennifer Aniston, never going to have kids. And I don't feel like Jennifer Aniston ever wanted to have children. I think that she said that, but like, again, another divorce took place in her life, apparently because she didn't want to have kids, or possibly because she didn't want to have kids. She wants to have her career and enjoy her life. And there's literally nothing wrong with that. And the fact that like they're like Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston can literally not ever be brought up in a without talking about Brad Pitt shows how much patriarchy has a hold on it, because these women get painted in lights that Brad Pitt never does. And he's the problem. He's the one who like allowed this insensitive ass photo shoot. I don't know how many of y'all know this, but like not too long after they separated, this whole like family photo shoot comes out, and it's very insensitive. And Brad just talks about how he's never felt this way before and how he's never been this happy. And it's like, bro, like you're like literally out here doing the most. You're doing the most to make someone else feel small. And yes, that is facts. When a Taurus cheats, it is in fact over. But like, I keep watching this happen. And so like when I talk to people, especially women and femmes, about like divorcing yourself from the patriarchy of the ideology that people have behind cheating, it's like, ask yourself the question of like, who walks away scot-free from these situations? And it's the man. It's always the man. Like, look at Bill Clinton and Hillary. All right. Bill Clinton walks away scot-free from the whole situation, like fun jokes, right? Fun jokes. But Hillary gets made fun of, and Hillary gets downgraded and degraded and called all kinds of names. And you know, how could she stay with him? How could she do this? But when like women are told that when your man cheats, you're supposed to stay. You're supposed to fix it. You're supposed to move past this. But when women cheat on men, she's a hoe. She's for the streets. Bye. Do you see how this is like obviously on one side of the argument? Do you see like how obvious it is? Now, I'm not going to say cheating is right. That's not what I'm here to say. I'm not saying cheating is right. I'm not saying it's wrong, because I feel like, honestly, shit happens the way that it happens, and I'm not one to judge anybody's life. I know that it harms people's lives. I know that it breaks people's lives. I know that it's harmful for kids. I get all of that, but I'm not the judge and jury of everybody's life. I don't know all the stories, so I'm not going to like be the kind of person that tells you whether or not you're doing something wrong. It goes beyond cheating too. I made mistakes and I've lost friends over my mistakes, but while we were separated, he technically cheated on me multiple times and had me set things up unknowingly. Ooh, damn, Dahlia, I'm sorry, babe. Damn. Wait, Fila said, people use that as an insult. Everyone do not want kids. Everyone do not want to be in a relationship or marriage. Facts. People have value without the contingency of being with someone, period. I fully agree with that. Thank you for repeating it. Hell yeah. Yes. Men walk away clean and the woman is dehumanized and labeled as being the problem. And this is where I get really mad, because I keep seeing this rhetoric go through. Like, even if you watch that movie with Diane Lane and Michael Douglas, I feel like, and it was like a sexy movie and she was cheating with this like sexy man. And then he ends up, unaliving that man, right? He unalives that man. And it's just like them trying to figure out how to deal with it and go to the police. And it's like, so this was supposed to be our moment as women, like, oh, look, this, like, yeah, but it's not our moment. Like, it's just, that once you do stay, you get criticized for condoning his behavior. And this is the thing that bothers me, because people want to talk about old school relationships or like all of these things. And I just go, okay, so if I'm in a relationship with somebody, they cheat on me, sucks, right? But we actually talk through, because again, cheating has multiple varying nuanced shit that happens besides just getting your rocks off. Point blank, period, facts. There's multiple underlying factors for a lot of people. It's not always just like, I just wanted to do this thing. So if you work past that and you work through it and you start talking about it and you're like, well, what happened was you weren't paying attention to me, and I'm trying to do all these things, and I, you know, was doing this, and I bought lingerie, and I did this, and I tried to have sexy times, and I tried to be sexier for you, and I tried to do this, and I tried to do that, and you just weren't paying attention. I felt like you just didn't care, and then this person was hitting on me, and then like this is what happened. You work through that, right? You decide to work through it, but somehow if anybody else knows about this, you, the woman, are like criticized and treated like shit, because how dare you stay? How dare you throw him in the trash? And it's like, what? Exactly. Old school relationships condone cheating and domestic violence. Like, and that's the thing. Cheating in the media is very like, here's the thing. One of the reasons that like, I hate the way cheating is portrayed in the media is because of soap operas. Like, they're always these like steamy affairs where it's like, I can't live without you. And like that perpetuates the idea that like women are so emotional that they can't like do this, just be like, I'm having a good time. They're just like, Gregory, I can't. Oh my God, your kisses. It's so weird. It's just it's a weird thing. Ooh, Felisa. Yes, they do. And then when we make songs like Carrie Underwood did Before He Cheats, which again, I think I said this in a Twitch stream. It's a song like I don't like singing, right? But I sing it because I know the words. And also I like to like hit those like random notes when I can. I obviously can't hit them all the time, but when I can, and I'm like, but I don't actually like the song because I don't condone property damage like that, because I don't want women to go to jail over some cheating ass man. So yeah, and that's the thing. I think self-esteem has a lot to do with it, like staying with somebody who cheats, or sometimes even you're cheating alone, self-esteem. You know, I've talked about it a little bit, but like I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. I literally went from one emotionally manipulative and abusive relationship to another one and then another one. And like, I could not seem to like stop the cycle, which thankfully I have. But at the time I could not stop the cycle of getting into these like emotionally manipulative relationships that were honestly causing me so much damage and harm. And I could not figure out how to lift myself out of it, because I was like, I don't like this, but I can't seem to leave, because when I try to leave, they get really upset about it. They cry. How do I leave? You're too cute for prison, Carrie Underpants. Yeah, she's over there. Cut my name into his leather seats. Like, she was out there having a good time. Yeah, so the fixer. So the fixer mentality in relationships, it's not even like, you don't even just stay with cheaters. You stay with people who treat you like garbage, because you get used to being the fixer. You get used to fixing that damaged person, and that becomes a role that you're comfortable with, right? I think y'all can hear Bo snoring a little bit, because I can hear him. I can hear him breathing. Anywho's it's. So the fixer folks constantly end up in relationships that are often emotionally manipulative and emotionally abusive. And a lot of it has to do with us not being able to stand in who we are as people. So when you are a fixer, you know your worth. A lot of people as fixers know their worth. And because they know their worth, they're willing to try to quote unquote fix the other person to bring them up to the level that you are, so that you will rule together, right? And I'm like so excited. I'm like, yeah, y'all hear him. That's how good this fucking mic is. He's like down here snoring his little ass off and having a good time. So what happens is Like, because I feel like a lot of times low self-esteem gets thrown around with a lot of fixers, but a lot of fixers do not have low self-esteem. They have good self-esteem. They're just not standing in it. That's all. They have good self-esteem and they're like, well, if I can just fix them, then we'll grow together and then we'll both be this power couple. And you're like fixated on what could be, not what is. And so what consistently happens with the fixer folks is we just keep getting with people who have just gotten out of a really terrible relationship. Like things are bad. Like it was bad. Like I've just been so hurt. And we're like, oh my God, I'm sorry you were hurt. Let me be the person to show you that love is amazing and I will be there for you. I will not crush you like the other person did. I won't crush you. I'm gonna love you no matter what. And you know what? We need to stop doing it. We like stop. If you are a fixer, if you hear this, if you are like Liz, I feel so called out. If you are a fixer, I need you to understand you're not going to fix it. No, not that I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be the one. I will be the one to make you right. I will do it. I will show you that love is amazing. They don't want that anyway. They're going to keep pushing your boundaries. They're going to keep doing messed up stuff at every turn. They're going to treat you like garbage. They're going to tell you that like at some point or another, you become the problem. You do. Even when you're out here trying to help them with the things that they wanted help with, that they said they wanted you to help them with, you're going to be the problem. You don't want to go out. You're not fun. You're not spontaneous. You don't ever let them do anything. You like all the things that they wanted help with, and you were helping them. As they get better, they're like, you basically built a bitch so that they can move on to someone else. They never wanted you in the first place. They just needed therapy. They needed to see a therapist. Unfortunately, you were that therapist. And that sucks. But like, you have to let go. If you are currently out there with your whole idea of like, I will fix you. No. Turn off the Coldplay song, Fix You. You will not fix them. Lights will not guide you home. You will not fix them. Like that is it. Yeah, movie love triangles with one woman and two men usually depict the woman as a helpless doe instead of a rational person with autonomy. Yes, Julia Ormond's characters. Yes, because she's always like, oh, I cannot. Like, listen, even Billy in what is that show? Sex. There's like there's a sex something. No, you did not. I should be paying you for this therapy. Wait, you are a paying member of my Twitch. You are. You're good. You're good. Yes, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. Because here's the reality. Like so often, we as people, because this is why I hate the conversations around self-esteem and loving yourself. Because so many of those conversations assume you don't. Sex life. Thank you, Emily. I'll get back there. So many of these conversations assume you don't have self-esteem and that you don't love yourself. And it's like, no, baby, I do love myself. A lot of people do, in fact, love themselves. They love themselves. They have high self-esteem. That's not the problem. Like these conversations are always like, you have to love yourself first. Like, bitch, I love myself. Like that's the thing. And the problem is when you love yourself and you have good self-esteem, you start feeling like maybe your standards are too high, right? Like maybe I'm setting the bar too high for what I want, especially when you're love seeking. You're love seeking, you want a relationship. It's human nature as a general rule for us to want to like have companionship of some form. So good night, Bethany. Sleep well. So what happens is we float downwards. We just float down. We're like, maybe I'm being too lofty. And also a lot of men's advice is always like that. It's like, your standards are too high, ladies, to like force us to be with these pieces of shit. That's neither here nor there, but also it is there. So we float down. We go, we float down to someone who's not at your level. Cause you're like, and my standards are obviously too high and I just need to stop being a picky ass bitch. And so you think that you're like, I'll do this thing. So you come down here, where you're supposed to, where the Kevin Samuels and that one guy, that one white guy who like compares women to horses, Russell Hartley, is that his name? Russell something. You float down, and these men tell you that like, if women don't. So you're down here being less of yourself. And as you're being less of yourself, right, you're like, I'm going to be less. All right. And then this is what you get. You get these problems that come running your way. And you go, okay, but like, if I help them to the next level, right? If I take them to the next level, it's going to be a-okay. It's going to be great. So that's your mind. You're like, if I come down, if I bring my standards down and I have met this person, that I'm going to take them and I'm going to bring them to my level. And then we're going to be great together. And I just have to hide this part of myself. I just have to make myself small for just a short period of time until I have built them and raised them up to where I am, and then we'll be great together. It never happens. Oh my God, Jeff, thank you. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. And so it's like, I'm here to tell you, stop dropping down. Don't drop down. And here's the thing. I'm not saying anybody's below you. I'm saying everybody has different levels. If somebody isn't on the same level as you, don't drop down. Like, you wouldn't do that in a video game. You wouldn't be doing well in a game and then like drop levels so that you can play with somebody else. You'd be like, if you're not at the same level, like, you can get there and then we'll play together. But like, I'm not going to like restart and do all of this. Not after I've worked my ass off to get my character here. Right? Like, you're not going to do that. There's literally no reason. You're like, why would I drop everything? Why would I drop everything down? Why would I take myself to this like other level and like lose all the things that I had gained just so that I can play with you? So like, it doesn't make any sense. You wish you would go on a show for him to tell me I'm a 4 at best and my standards are too high. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, those kind of like, I hate those kinds of shows and I hate those kinds of men. And the reason that I hate them is because for all of the men in the world and that are lonely, that are seeking, that are trying, they get caught up with these kind of men. And then they feel justified in how they feel about women instead of looking at yourself, right? At some point, you have to look at yourself. You have to go, I am fucking up this way or that way. Like, when I kept going from bad relationship to bad relationship to bad relationship, I had to go, well, unfortunately, Audra, the common denominator is you. Figure it out. And I did. I had to sit there and be like, yeah. So I'm letting myself be smaller so that I can be with somebody, because I thought that I had to just take what I could get. And it wasn't even necessarily like a self-esteem thing. It was like, I am Black and the Eurocentric beauty is the standard of beauty. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll just have to accept this relationship. Again, making myself smaller, things I didn't know about, like emotional abuse, because I thought you had to be, being hit in order to be being abused in a relationship. Not understanding emotional blackmail, because what do we know about relationships really? Like, most of us don't know anything about relationships. Most of our information on how a relationship works, let's be honest, comes from media in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's book form, whether it's television, whether it is a movie, because a lot of us don't ask anybody. We don't ask our parents. And for a lot of us, we don't grow up in a two-parent household with both parents who have been married to each other and then they had y'all or adopted y'all. Like a lot of us don't grow up that way. So it's very much who do you go to for relationship advice? Like, let's be real about where this shit comes from. Like, this is why I say, I'm like, I don't think anybody's dumb. And I hate when people try to equate like the fact that people have media in their lives and it seeps into our brains is like you being stupid, being a lemming, being a sheep. You are not. But these things seep into our brains whether we want them to or not, right? When we read romance now, like I was busy reading my mom's Harlequin romance novels when I had no business reading them. I swear, y'all, I was like 8 reading Harlequin romance novels. All right. I was like 8 years old reading that shit. The majority of our information comes from television shows and media. Who do we ask? Who? Like, a lot of it comes from there. A lot of our rules and relationships. Oh my God. I'm so happy to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you. I'm glad you took a good, big social media break. I have been, listen, a lot of my socials, I'm not doing well on. Yeah. No one, thank you. So like, Gregory, no, you do not. I mean, I'm just saying, because I had to sit there and think about it. And I was really trying to put together a video on this, and I felt like I just couldn't put it into words because I'm a person who just has to talk through things. And I swear I'm just going to start like once a week doing like just like a romance conversation, a relationship. But here's what I thought about. And I was like, I like to think that I'm so like independent and I have all this stuff, but I realized that a lot of what I thought about relationships obviously comes from the media. What in the frickin' frack is on this television? So sorry. I looked up, this man had a stump. He is growing a baby leg. We're going to move past that. I don't know what YouTube is trying to show me, but the reality of the situation is I had to sit here and start thinking of like everything I knew about relationships and where it came from. And the majority of it did in fact come from media. Like to the point that everything that I think about dating, and I think everything that most people think about dating has in fact, in one way or another, come to us from the media. And as much as we don't want to admit it, it has. These ideas and ideologies and everything that we have around dating, because at 13, how many of us are asking our parents about how to ask somebody on a date? At 17, how many of us are asking our parents about, engaging in sexual relations? How many of us are asking this? So like, in a lot of ways, we're getting this information from television, movies, and books. So like, think about it from the perspective of everybody, like, is it life imitating art or is it art imitating life? Because I feel like all of us here, we're friends now. Think about your high school and then also remember that couple who like broke up and made up all the time. Every high school had one. Just think about it. And then think about how it played itself out in media. You had Dion and Clueless, who had the same thing. You had that weird couple in The Faculty. And so you have to start realizing that like we grew up with this normalcy that you're supposed to like break up and make up. Oh my God, T's here. Wait. T, I am, listen, I just got done swerving New York pretty hard. So I'm just like hanging out and talking shit about relationships. Yeah, I mean, because I have to think about this all the time. I'm always thinking about media, and every time I try to make a video on it, I cannot do it. I have to be able to just like stream of consciousness talk. But I thought about it because the reason I don't like this series, like Sex Life, is it is like it's if you just want to watch it for the scenes, fine, do, but don't watch it for story because oh, I did. But if you watch that, I guarantee you that if you saw it the way I saw it, Billy, I don't know what was supposed to be her relationship with Brad because they kept trying to show it like they tried to show it like her relationship with Brad was her ultimate relationship. Emphasis on relationship. They tried to show this as her ultimate. Like this was the man she wanted to be with. So one of the first things I learned from watching the show was like, okay, so obviously you don't settle, which I believe Kimberly Ware said so earlier. You don't settle because this shows like this is a warning. This show is a warning to what happens to you when you settle. Because Billy had Brad, whom for all intents and purposes has the good D given it to her, right? And then they break up for reasons that you find out. I feel like it's episode five, and it's like there's 6 episodes. And so they break up. And then she meets Mike Vogel. That's his actual name. I don't know what his name is in the show. I just remember him as Mike Vogel. So then she meets him. She marries him. She has 2 kids. And she's reliving her past saucy days. She's living the past saucy days. She's like, and then she, settles on, Brad and the they were doing it everywhere, every which way, all the time. She didn't even care if anybody saw them. It was like, so like that was what was happening, right? With her husband, I guess it's just boring. He just apparently forgot about her. One of the kids, she's like, feeding it with her nips. I'm trying not to get in trouble with this. So instead of her using any of this energy to just like actually talk to her husband and be like, babe, I know I've had a kid and like, I know we have another one and I know I am also a milker right now. But like, is there any way you could find me sexy? Because like, since you haven't been finding me sexy and you would like rather watch TV while we try to get it on, you got me thinking about my past lovers. So like, I just need you to let me know, right? Instead of her doing anything like that, having a conversation with him, doing any of that, she just keeps writing in this journal. Her husband finds out about her journal, right? Because at first it's just a journal, her writing about her escapades with Brad. And he reads it and he's like, I know I said a milker. I'm sorry, Liz. I'm trying to like stay within the realms of YouTube, right? YouTube monetization. I have to call her a milker. So she keeps writing about her past lover. Her husband reads it because for some reason her laptop isn't password protected. And for the other reason, she just leaving her like thefty journals like up for him. Like, I don't even understand that. If I'm writing like a theft journal around like someone that I'm with about my past lovers, like rude. I'm not going to just like leave it up as the first thing you see. But anyway, he reads it. He loses his mind. But then he starts being like, oh, I'm just going to do the things that old Brad used to do. Sir. That's not the way we want to do things. First of all, you're not like going to tread over this territory because you're not him. But she becomes like this helpless victim to Brad. In fact, there's 2 scenes in this series that set me on edge. The token black friend, somehow or another is dating Brad now, or rather stooping Brad. And here is where I am just like, I lost all reasoning. I was like, who? Because Brad is trying to get Billy back. And he decides that while he is over with token black friend, whom he is currently stooping, that he is going to leave his phone on for their FaceTime on video so Billy can see him stoop her token black friend. And do you know what Billy does? Billy, you would think, would hang up the phone. You would think she would. Nay, nay. Not today. Not tomorrow. She doesn't hang up the phone. She doesn't avert her gaze. She doesn't go, this is terrible. She instead takes care of her business while watching this. Now, first of all, if you were going to have a black person there and then use them like this, you could have just not had the black person there. Okay. Just like leave us out of it. Just leave us out of it. Gross. All right. Yes, Jeff, because like there's no reason for the person to be black at all. And I feel the same way when they do that with gay characters. Like I'm like, if there's no reason for them to be there, like just let them be straight. Who cares? Like you're not doing inclusion. If that's not how inclusion works. Like if you literally have a minority or just end this. If you have marginalized people in your shows and their purpose is just to further a long story, like don't like just leave them white. Just like leave. I want your whole please have your whole cast be white. Have your whole cast be white if that's what you're doing. If everybody else be white and straight, just be white and straight. Leave the rest of us out of it. No, you did not. She asked for the manager. No. Oh, Gregory, you're too young. Do not. You are too young. Do not get in there. So then the other thing that I really hate about this, because here's the fun part. There's actually 3. So Billy ends up admitting, to token black friend. And this is what, like, I don't even remember her name because she was like the token black friend. So Billy admits to token black friend that she saw this thing, and token black friend's like, oh, if I'd known you were watching, I'd have put on a performance. Huh? No, that's not how it would have gone. I'm so sorry. No, if that was me, I would have set Brad on fire, allegedly, with my lighter and lighter fluid. Okay, so the next thing that I am just like, what? They try to act like Billy is a white woman. I just have to talk about this because they really do. I told Emily this and I lost my whole shit. They tried to act like Billy is a whole white woman. Billy is not a white woman. You can clearly look at this woman and be like, this woman is not white. I'm not saying this to be like divisionary or anything. You can clearly see that the woman is not a white woman. The way that they cast her parents as white, her whole family, white. This woman is Persian. Like I can't. Like clearly not a white woman. And they just like her mom is cast as this like white redheaded lady. I was done there. Like that messed me up. The third thing that like really just this show did such a bad job of trying to showcase the relationship, that there was an actual relationship between Billy and Brad, that it just, by the time things are like falling apart or whatever, and her like you don't care. She deserves what she gets. Her husband doesn't deserve it. But here's the thing. The actual third thing, I'm getting there, is that when her and her husband are trying to work things out, she's trying to move past Brad. This is where I get mad because anybody in kink communities is going to understand what I'm saying. Billy and her husband have a wasp couple that they're friends with. And they're like, just believe us. We're going to take you somewhere. It's going to be great. So they go out with their wasp friends to this house party, which turns out to not just be a house party, y'all. It's a full-on munch. It's a full-on Thethy swap party. It's a full swap party. And these happen, and there's nothing wrong with it. I ain't a kink shamer, and these are actually a good time, good fun. You have a good time here. Howsoever, under zero circumstances does anybody ever bring anyone ever. I can't stress enough. Nobody brings unsuspecting people to these parties. If you are in the kink community, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Nobody brings these people unsuspecting to these parties. It just does not happen. You don't just like bring a couple and be like, it's gonna be nuts. And then you bring them and they're like, that's not how it works. First of all, you just don't. Nobody's ever done that. Like, you just don't do it. There's rules behind, like, people in this, like, there's rules. You just would not, because if they weren't cool, because like one of the fun things that people don't like to talk about when it comes to kink is like how many people don't want to be outed. There are a lot of people who don't want to be outed. So these kinds of parties need to know that everyone coming is in the life or wants to be in the life. Surprises are how you get outed. And there's a lot of people that don't want that. They're in there, they're being nude, lewd, and having a good time, as they should. It's a good time. Vanilla folk need to be informed when they are coming up on the rocky road, and they didn't know. So they're there and they're trying to like spice up their life or whatever. Mike Vogel has the nerve, like he's like getting a little sexy with Billy, and she's having a good time or whatever. And then she kind of like, she kind of backs up off of it because this isn't what she wants from her marriage. Right. And she's realizing that like she doesn't want this freak shit. She wants like like she has her marriage and she wants her marriage to be her marriage. She doesn't want this from Mike Vogel. All right. And Mike is just like trying to make fetch happen at this point and basically ignores her when she's just kind of like, I don't really, everybody's looking at us and I'm not, and he's very much like, who cares? I want everybody to see, how hot my wife is. And she's just like, I'm not comfortable. And here's what really irritates me is that the other couples who are watching, not a one of them says anything about her being uncomfortable because listen, most people, if they turn to watch the spectacle, would see her discomfort and at least say something to him. Because this isn't even a BDSM party. This isn't Dom subs. Most people would have been like, hey, da-da-da-da. Or people would have turned away to realize, like, people would have, like, made movements and motions to try to get, like, things chilled because realizing she wasn't uncomfortable. She was not comfortable. She was an uncomfortable participant in this whole thing. She started to be uncomfortable. And then the wasp wife, remember the friends? She goes down on his town. She goes down on that possum tail, as I heard. She goes down the possum tail. And she's like, I can do this, but you need to let me know. And Mike Vogel stares Billy in the eye, seeing that she is not comfortable, that she is not feeling good. And he feels what? Vengeful. And tells her to do it. So waspy lady down there just giving that possum tail the whole business. Let me just tell you that again, this isn't where you go. This isn't where you go. This isn't where you go. Listen, y'all, like she's like, I have no idea. Cheating, relationships, and media. That is what we were talking about. So this is, again, a vehicle I hate being used is the idea of like additional partners or non-traditional things, because these things, again, affect us in real life. People in real life start thinking that these are the things that they need to do to spice up their sex. And they haven't even done anything else. They've just been doing the horizontal mambo for 17 years. They haven't even tried the back door cuffs in their home. They're just like, they go from like, let's, a quick spanking to like, let's go to a club. No. Like, Gregory, it is a horrible show. It is horrible. See, Tina knows what I'm talking about because Tina watched Sex/Life. And Chelsea, yes, this is a thing that I get tired of because I feel like it gives people very much this idea that if you're in a relationship lull, you do these kinds of things. And I don't think no, I know that that's not what you do. What you don't do in your relationship is resort to going from point A in your relationship to like Z. You need to like visit B and C. You need to try your backdoor lovins if that ain't a good time. You need to try a bunch of other things. You need to try a little bit of bondage, a little bit of spanking, a little bit of like there's so many things that you need to try before you're like, let's introduce other people into our sex life. Like it's weird. So yeah, Fefi, it is worse than bad. It is so much worse than bad. And it like the way that it ends is with her just very much feeling like, I want it all. And so she wants her husband, but she also wants to like have her affair. And I, feel like, first of all, this girl is dumb. Like you didn't think your man would like be tracking you after you cheated on him like that? Girl, come on now. But also, see, yeah, because the actor who plays Brad has a pretty intense eggplant, yeah. I just made that word up. So when I talk about like how the media slides into our brains, it comes into things like this. It comes into the amount of people on Tinder who are quote unquote seeking a third. It comes to like the reality that people don't even realize that like therapy is a thing. Like have y'all tried therapy? Have you attempted therapy before attempting a third? Like, y'all just literally woke up and chose violence for your relationship? Y'all chose destruction instead of therapy? Good night, Jeff. Sleep well, babes. I love you. Have a good one. Hello. But it's like, these are the things where I say like people don't think about how much this stuff becomes a part of their lives, but like it does because you think that, because people think that that is the thing that you do if your relationship is stale. And it's like, oh yeah, you just go to like a swingers club. No, you don't. You talk about your issues. You don't just like slide over your issues. You don't put lube and another person on your relationship. Like that's not how you fix it. You need to communicate. Like, thank you. Communication is the most important part of your relationship. If you haven't figured that out by the time you're like over here inviting a third, fourth person into your lives before you're like going to munches and doing freak shit, if you haven't figured that out, like I hate to tell you about your shit, it's doomed. It's doomed. It's not going to work itself out. It's not going to work itself out. Like it is not going to suddenly be better. You are not going to now have a good relationship because you haven't been talking this whole time. You haven't been discussing your issues. You have not been discussing your problems. What you've been doing is like throwing a lubed up Band-Aid an Adam and Eve size band-aid, if you will, on top of your problems, and your problems are still underneath it. And that stuff only exacerbates your problem. Yeah. Yes, it does. In fact, the majority of people I know who have done this have done that. The more people that I know, and I'm not talking about good poly. I'm not talking about like it started that way or you both like communicated and realized that that was the way you need to go. I'm talking about fully monogamous relationships that were having difficulties. And instead of them addressing their difficulties, they were like, well, you're bi and like, and then add in another person. And then that made everything so much worse. Yes, you have to have trust. And so I feel like people just do not understand how much work you have to put into your actual relationship if you do want to be poly, if you do want to like if you want to do any of these freak things, which I like to use the term freak in a fun way because we like to get our freaknik on. But if you want to do any of these things, you have to have conversations. You absolutely, conversations must be had. And I think the thing that kills me is like when people decide, even if that they're going to go to a club, they don't have the core conversations of like, okay, what is and is not allowed when you get in this club? What you will and will not tolerate? Do you both have to agree on what's going to happen? What either of you wants like is okay with the other person doing. None of those conversations take place. You just show up, all kinds of things happen. You wake up the next day stunned, confused, a little like, we did that. And you're like, yeah. Because you didn't have any conversations. And now you're both like in this weird space where it's like, did you enjoyed it, but like also you didn't like that they did this because you didn't talk about them doing that. I'm just saying. Yes. Yeah, like Tina, that's what I was saying. I was like, that show really showed what happens when you settle. Cause like, here was the thing. She had the opportunity to just like honestly wait for Brad and like tell him to get his shit together, which she did, but she didn't wait for him, right? And instead she got married. She got remarried. She got married, she did all this stuff. And then when he showed back up in her life, he was obviously always the love of her life. So like why did she drag that poor innocent man and the two children that she bore into all of this? Like she could have just not done any of the things. I'm sorry, Kaylee. I don't like it just does like I feel like so many people, again, this is why I say this all the time. It is literally because we watch movies, television, read books, random people tell us that these are the things that you do to spice up your life. But very rarely do they talk to you about all the communication that is necessary and that you don't just spice up your sex life. Isn't boring. You're just not communicating with each other. That's all. Your sex life isn't actually boring. It really isn't. You just have like a lot of unresolved ish that you need to work through, and you're not working through it. And so that's making the sex awful. Like, you know, like for me and my marriage, it was like his alcoholism. We just weren't talking about the fact that like of all the pain and heartache he caused while he was deep in the throes of alcoholism, right? We were not talking about that at all. So like it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. We weren't talking about it at all. I was afraid to talk about it because I was afraid it was going to send him into a spiral. And if I did bring it up, he, was like, well, I don't want to talk about this. That didn't, we weren't talking. So obviously the wasn't good. No. Yes. Oh my gosh. Chelsea, it isn't about spicing it up. It is not. It's like adding fun and exploring. It's not a fix, it's an activity to do together. Exactly. I'm for a second I thought you were talking about me, Catherine. I'm like, I don't know who lets me do this. Apparently YouTube. YouTube allows me to do this, but then I realized you were talking about the actual show Sex Last Life. But yeah, I mean, I think if we look at media and if we really start looking at how it affects us and our relationships and how we view them, especially romantic relationships, we're going to find out that like a good portion of what we believe is true and how we view it is through a lens of media. It's not, we're not asking for advice, and the advice we're getting is like weird anyway. It's not good advice. It's a lot of the advice out there is actually advice that is sensational and good on paper. Like, is your like the poke him in the that, like, remember Cosmo was constantly talking about that, but like they never, like they just told you to do this thing and like not once telling you like, hey, you should ask him if he wants you to do that, because it's a little rude to just be surprising somebody, just like you don't want to be surprised. Do you think he wants to be surprised with like a the answer is no. The answer is no. Especially specifically heterosexual. No, they don't like it when you just surprise them. They need to know. And also a lot of them are actually into it as long as they know what's gonna happen. Thank you, Gregory. I make a lot of weird sound effects noises because I'm strange. Oh no. Of course she fought for him. Mm. This sounds terrible. Yes. Oh, it's a really weird atmosphere around sex, and you're like, why do so many people mutually choose to have bad sex rather than yes? Like, why? Why are we like literally just like, I hate everything that's happening? It's like, well, then tell them. Tell them it's bad. Tell them it's not good. But Lisa, no. Most of our husbands were old and fat with ED. Oh, damn it. That's different. But no, seriousness, like, I just think like take a look sometimes at what you believe and why you think a relationship should be that way. And I'll leave you with this. I used to think roses were just such a great flower. Like the penultimate, they were just amazing. If somebody got you roses, it meant that they fucking cared about you, right? They loved you if they got you roses. The first time I ever got roses, I was like, these are them? Like, I didn't like them. They're not as fragrant as I thought that they would be, and not nearly as beautiful. And that was the first time in my life that I had to like actually question what flower I liked. Right? I had to like what flower do you like, Audra? Because you've been taught basically your entire life that you are a woman, femme presenting, and roses are the flowers that you're supposed to love. And the first time I got them, I just was not overwhelmed by their beauty. I wasn't like, oh my God, a dozen roses. Oh, how expensive and how wonderful. I was like, they don't, what are they supposed to smell like? It doesn't smell like anything. It just smells kind of like a petal. It smells like greenery. Am I supposed to be impressed? I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. Can you take it back? Thank you. Take it back. I'm good. Take it back. It's not giving what y'all said it was supposed to have gay. Just take it back. So I did not like it. Turns out I like bird of paradise. Gregory, they smell like grass. I was like, what the? I didn't understand it. I was like, what is, oh my God, deathly allergic to roses. Like, I just didn't get it. Rejection ASMR. I thought that they were supposed to be so much. And then I was like, yeah, I don't like these. Like I like, and so that was the thing I had to question. I had to ask myself what flower I actually liked and had to spend time looking at flowers and discovering like a flower that I liked, not based on color, but based on like its attitude and like how it looks. And I like the bird of paradise. I like how it looks. I like that it looks like a bird. And I like the colorfulness of it. I like that it's kind of an abstract thing and it's just doing its own thing. I love that. So like, yeah. So, maybe random Saturdays, I'll just be popping up on here with my like goofy random relationship BS. Doing my weird-ish. Wait, what? I have a friend who had a guy who bought her a Brita filter and a chapstick as a sign of affection. She is not sure how to proceed. Proceed. Proceed forthwith. A Brita water filter says that they want to make sure that they survive. That they are aware that the tap water is often hot garbage. And if they are unable to get good tap water and they don't want to ruin the environment with bottled water, here is a Brita filter. The chapstick is saying that never, ever do they want your lips to be dry, especially when they're going to be kissing you. Proceed. It depends. It depends on where I get those sticks, the cheese sticks from, because some places I don't like it. Thank you, Natalie. Lips hydrated and soft. Sounds like a good sign. Oh, Venetia, I'm sorry. You love orange roses. That makes sense, though. And I hate that roses have like, oh, by this color, it means this. I'm like, or it could be the color that somebody likes. See, tiger lilies. Yeah, I don't think that roses are beautiful. I think part of it too is that the whole head of it dies and then just goes boop, boop. And then all you're left with is like the stem. It beheads itself. Did I just say that out loud? I did. And because I just said that, because I literally just said a rose beheads itself, I am going to roll on out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you who hung out. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I may be doing more of these. Let me know if you watch this on the replay, if you would like for me to do more of these. And if you were here, let me know in the comments as well. Eye contact isn't a thing I do. So we're going to say good night and be safe. And, it's Saturday and now it's almost Sunday. Bye.